Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Wednesday, December the 22nd. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading. Keeping it simple, price, location. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. What am I talking about? Price, location. Well, as we look at the charts, we can deduce certain things. And that's what I've based a lot of my methods on. For example, we know price is going to move away from the open. And somebody asked a question about TRO HL5. What does it use for the daily open? What that indicator does is it looks at the D1 chart data for whichever broker you're running your MT4 on, and whatever that daily open for that on that D1 candle is, that open price, that's the daily open. I have other indicators where it'll tell you what the opening price is for whatever time you put in it. I think it's called TRO opens, if I'm not mistaken. I think it allows you to have up to 4 or 5 different open prices. One for each of the sessions, and then maybe you like to have your own special open time. So that's what I mean by price location. We also know that almost every day, price will make a high and a low, and it'll pull back. But along with the daily open, we also have the weekly open and the monthly open. So when we look at the charts, let's just look at that. And also, looking at charts is Wall, and I like to tell you is if you look left, well, if you see a bunch of wicks at the same level you're at, then pretty much there was a lot of price action there. If you just see a big bodied candle, then pretty much either the buyers or the sellers were having their way. And so what's location got to do with anything? Well, I think you can probably deduce that if you trade at or near certain locations, you have a better chance of making a profit than if you traded others, just because of the price action that was there previously. So price leaves clues, traders leave clues. There's I guess two camps. Some people say the market's random, and some people say the market is chaotic. But the thing is, traders are pretty much predictable. And so it might look like chaos. There's certain things that we pretty much know is going to happen. There's going to be certain traders, if price gets near the 50 moving average or the 200 moving average, they're going to react one way or the other. If price gets near a pivot point, traders are going to react one way or the other. And so that's what you're really seeing on the chart. We're seeing price, but what we're seeing is what traders are doing to move the price. And that's just one of those little things that when people hear it, they go, oh, yeah, it makes sense. But most of the time, they don't even think about it that way. So let's go ahead and start looking at some charts. So you see here, the monthly candle's green. I think, was it? A couple days ago, it was red. So what that's telling you is that price has been moving across this 32.95 monthly open. I think it's moved across it a couple of times. And so right now, that'd be a 36 pip profit you'd be sitting on. So that 32.95 line, right about here. So you can see it's crisscrossed at 1, 2. Well, this is for the month. We're in the second week of the month. So right here. Actually, we're in the third week of the month. So the 95 line was crisscrossed last week a couple times and this week. So once again, here we go. The opening, the monthly open right here. So you can see here on the first day, it went up and down. Second day, it crossed above. Third day, crossed below. Last week, above, below. And then this week, above again. So that just shows you about price location. And so for the week, price crisscrossed the open. First it went to the downside, then it went to the upside. So monthly open, weekly open, strong moves. And you can also see that on the daily open. So simple horizontal line trades, all having to do with location of price, just certain things like the open, and you can see just how strong a move can happen off of that open. Speaking about opens, we're 313 pips below the yearly open, 33 above the monthly, 92 above the weekly, and 77 above the daily. For you inside bar traders, yesterday you were slightly teased, maybe even took a loss trying to buy. You actually opened outside the inside bar, so there wasn't a trigger here. But one thing I had mentioned, if you look left, if you look at yesterday's low, or actually yesterday's low, and then you look to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wicks, just looking there. And so as you scrunch the chart, you don't see anything. And these wicks mean price was pushing up. Wicks on the bottom. There was no close below this. So when it started coming back up, and here's the lowest open on the daily chart, right here, lowest daily open. So that would be a, I guess we'd have to call that, yeah, it's still a holo trade, highest open, lowest open. And then there was an opportunity to make money off of this level 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Once again, simple horizontal line trades, seeing how prices reacted at that level before, marking its significance. And what do we know also about the wicks? We know price doesn't like staying in the wick zone. Now, let's pay attention here. You can see where price is, and if you look left, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wicks. So price would probably need to close above either the 32, 30, let's see, 32, 33. What's that open price? 32, 33, 32. Or to be even stronger, close above the closing price here, 33.49. So we'll have to wait and see what price does at those levels. And the thing about when you start thinking in terms of location, you can sit back and look at a daily chart, and maybe you can mark up a few things. Like, for example, you might want to just draw a rectangle pick one of these wicks and say, hey, if price gets in that zone, chances are it's probably going to leave that area. You don't know which way it's going to leave it, but chances are it's probably going to leave that area. So the question is, can the buyers now overcome all that previous selling pressure? Range, right now the pound's at 95. We've got 3 pairs over 100 on the daily range. So once again, this is a holiday week, so not really sure what's driving price at the moment. There is some news today on the dollar, so we'll see. And looking at the buy zone, I should probably really turn this back to H1 because we usually want to follow the H1 through the buy zone here. So it once again crisscrossed the daily open back above through the buy zone and up, hit the short zone, but it was still above the weekly. And I usually like to say between the daily open and the weekly open, that's kind of a no trade zone for me, especially when, you know, it's within about 20 pips, because if price gets below the weekly open here, then it's also below the daily open. Pretty much is telling you what the sellers want to do, and above it, it's telling you what the buyers want to do. In between, you just don't have a clue what's going on. You've got basically mixed candle colors. You got a red day and a green week. So kind of let it settle down. So in this case, this location is telling you don't trade. You don't know, you really don't know who's in control there. You don't know if the buyers or sellers are what they're going to do. Just sit back, let them show you their hand, and then you can take advantage of it. So when these two prices are close, yeah, you don't want to trade in that zone. When they're far apart, well, then they kind of cancel each other out, and you would be probably want to look to the daily for a clue, especially if price is ranged about its weekly range or ATR away from the weekly open. Then you can start looking for that reversal. Once again, ATR, we're talking about location. Speaking of location, we're in the red rat zone. So red rat's getting ready to feast. We've passed R2 on the daily. So it said bias was short, but not so much. This seems like the pivot trading plan is about 50-50 now on the pound. Okay, pivots. We took out the pivot from 2 days ago. Let me look here. Let me switch. Looks like we've got, yeah, looks like we took out that pivot. We took out today's pivot. So all the December daily pivots have been taken out. We look at the weekly. We took out that weekly pivot that we hadn't taken out till today, I believe. And finally, for the monthly, we're getting close, but we still haven't taken out the monthly pivot. So in and out of the wick zone, you can see there was some highest low price action there, good for about 4 pips. Walmall lines, long at the 30, short at the 20 this hour. You can see there was a lot of selling right there, 4.1 pips, 355 ticks. So, fellow traders, location, 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 just like real estate. So remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.